everyone's talking about this offsides, neutral zone. By the way, JD, I played football in high school. I played low-level college football. I have never heard of offsides and neutral zone infraction on an offensive player. I mean, I guess I just come to know that as that's usually a D. Usually get that the D line penalty, but I've never seen the offense get a neutral zone infraction before. Usually because you're lined up as a receiver, you're giving the thumbs up. The ref saying, "Yeah, you're good, you're good." Now, was that Mahomes yelling at the ref because maybe the ref said he was good? I don't know, but what do you make of the penalty, JD?
What I make of it, it was a penalty. It was the right call because he was lined up in the neutral zone. And usually it happens when a guy doesn't check enough on the sideline to get a thumbs up. And sometimes what the ref had to do, like he has to give a thumbs up or not or something to let you know. So as far as like at the end, I don't know who Patrick was yelling at. I know he was hot. I know he's pissed off. Heck, it looked like he was yelling at everybody. He told somebody, "Get up off me." I heard him. I could tell that in his lips. So I do know that. And so a lot of it's just the frustration that he's feeling right now, just from the losses that he's had, and not being able to capitalize on, touchdowns, moving the ball effectively, on a consistent basis. And so all those things, he's feeling that. He's feeling all those pressures of those things right now. And the frustration comes out in a guy that usually keeps his composure about himself. That's what you've seen. But yeah, hey man, look, that's a mistake that Kadarius Toney made, and that was a mistake that shouldn't have happened. But that to me, that's a lack of focus. Shouldn't happen. Should not happen. So it's tough, man. It's a tough loss. Because, I felt everybody, felt he was going to go down and score. And then when you get the touchdown, right, you see the results of it when you actually, make that call, totally different, right? So he went from, the hero to now, the GOAT, the ghoul. So.
Teja, your initial thoughts, because you kind of pointed out on the next play, and I think a lot of what Mahomes is pissed off about is and this is the thing, it's not blaming the refs. It's never blaming the ref thing. It's what we always talked about on the show. It's an inconsistency with the calls that these refs make. Because the play that's going viral right now online is the very next play after the offsides on Toney. It was that Von Miller, if you looked at where he was lined up, in the neutral zone. He was offsides.
He was more offsides than Toney was. He was almost like a half yard off. So he wasn't even on the imaginary blue line. He was like beyond the blue line.
And that's what Mahomes maybe can be pissed off about, the inconsistency of the calls. Where you sometimes call an offside, you don't call an offsides. But I tell you, what were your thoughts on it? Because that was kind of where you were kind of going with that.
Yeah, I just think if you're going to call it both ways, it sucks because it's a penalty that really doesn't affect the game at all, and it's part of the rule. So, I as a fan, I get frustrated because you hear when they don't call pass interference plays, they say, "Oh, the contact didn't." I don't know the exact wording they use, but the contact didn't impact the receiver in such a way to us to warrant to call a penalty. What do you mean? Is it a penalty or not? They don't look at an offsides after it's called and be like, well, did his offsides really impact the play? No, we won't call it. No, it's offside, so call it, right? So if a guy's getting mugged, you call it. Who cares how much it impacts the receiver? So again, it goes back to, I just think there's way too many subjective calls in football, and it's just love it or hate it, it's a very inaccurate sport sometimes. Like the guy who was making the yardage on the on the punt. We were laughing about that. He was breaking up a fight, and then he has to remember where he thought the ball went out of bounds on the punt. It's like, oh yeah, what did he mark that in his head? Remember the 37. I'm going to go break up a fight, and now I'm going to go mark the ball that landed about 30 seconds ago. But it's the sport we love, and it's the sport that makes us the most mad. So,
well, the thing is, because it went this way against us, it's going to be more amplified, right?
Yeah.
We're going to bring it up.
Yeah.
The thing is, when it goes in our favor, then it's all right. We let it go. And these calls are always going to be subjective. It's always been like that. It hasn't changed. And the crazy part is you think the technology that they have, that it would, or at least saying, hey, look, if we got this wrong, let's go back and look over it, right? But like you said, we clearly seen that he was offsides. And then, of course, you said the defensive line, Von Miller, he's offsides. You're not making that call. Then, what is it? But it's what it is? It's on the coaches on the sideline to be like, hey, man, he's lined up all sides. Like sometimes you need to try to at least, push to get a call. You have to do that. You got to push to try to get a call. But, man, to be honest with you, and the reality is when you see the course of the game, it still shouldn't have had to come down to this. Okay.
Yeah.
Just be real. Let's get into, the reality of us not scoring the points that we need and not having the consistency on the offense like we should to where the game is where it was. I think defensively, they straightened up and started playing a much better game. And it showed. Shoot, Bolton coming back, he showed, why he is the force that he is. So I just, for the life of me, when we talk about these things, and I keep hearing from guys that I played with we kind of texting before this, where's the discipline? Is the discipline? Is it lack of responsibility? Where's the lack of focus? When things like this happen, and I think somebody said this in the comment, it came up, was talking about sometimes that accountability and lack of concentration could be on the coaches. Are they not emphasizing this enough? Right? So I don't know, man. It's a lot. It's a lot to kind of go through. But we knew it was going to be a tough game. This is it. Look, this is the Bills. We knew it was going to be a tough game. Look, their back was getting off. They're playing to try to still salvage their season as much as possible. Josh Allen's eyes, we seen him was like saucers. Like it was a high-level game that we're sitting there talking about. High, stressful, anxiety-filled game for everybody, for both teams. So,
hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.